Hello guys, today we're going to take a look at Fleetwood Mac's Rumors for the cassette. Um, so, the album was released in 1977. It's about 39 minutes 43 seconds long, has 11 tracks, and it was released under the Warner Brothers Records. On the album is Lindsey Buckingham, who played guitar and vocals, Stevie Nicks, who did vocals, Christine McVie, who did keyboards, John McVie, who did bass, and Mick Fleetwood, who did drums. The album was produced by Ken Cassette, who also worked with Billy Idol, and Richard Dushett, who worked with Bob Welch. On AllMusic, the album has 5 out of 5 by AllMusic itself and 5 out of 5 by casual viewers with 30, 30 with roughly about 30,000, 3,900 ish people. Now, tracks on the album is, good thing I have it here, is I don't want the first one. Now, keep in mind the track listings on the video cassette is different than on the record and CD. So keep that in mind when I list these off here. I don't want to know. Let's see. I don't want. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. That one's pretty good. I remember it being. I just listened to the album last night. I remember it being kind of light, kind of flowy. Um, Dreams was pretty good. I loved Dreams. That was a great song. It was. I love this album in general. Really, it's such a. It just kind of has a. I don't know. There's some kind of timelessness to it that just really, really speaks to me. Let's see. The third track is Never Going Back Again. That one was pretty good too. Um, that one's pretty good. That one was one of the lighter ones too. Number 4, Don't Stop. Now, Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow. I never knew that was a Fleetwood Mac song until I listened to that album. I know of the song, but I didn't think it was Fleetwood Mac. But of course that one's a good song. Go Your Own Way is amazing. I love that song because it's just kind of has a great riff. It has a great beat, and it just has like that chorus, and the way the orchestration is amazing for that. And then Songbird's really kind of that one's a slow one. Slow one. It's kind of ballady. It's very soulful, and I like that. Um, the Chain is amazing. The Chain is very I always found the Chain very orchestra driven. A lot of the albums feel like kind of they have a lot of crescendos, not orchestra like violence stuff, just the way the song bounces up and down, back and forth with the sounds and the arrangements. That's why I meant arrangements, and just kind of it just really felt like it was the driving force. It kept moving, and I like that. Make Loving Fun's kind of a lighter song. A lot of these songs are pretty dark, are kind of a darker groove to them. Some of them are a bit lighter to them. But yeah, that one was good. Secondhand News, that one was definitely light. That's probably that one, but that one kind of light, and that's the thing. The songs are light in sound, but have a, a dark tone to them. Um, of course, anyone who knows the background of the album knows that there was so much controversy. Buckingham and Nicks were together and apart. The McVies were together and apart, and of course, Fleetwood was just caught in the middle, doing his own thing. I think he might have been. I don't remember all the details, but there was a lot of drama behind this album. Now, Fleetwood Mac. Now, I used to think Fleetwood Mac was kind of like this was like their first or second album. They actually had like a shit ton of albums way before this, but like throughout the 70s, but they were much more bluesy, and they had completely different members outside of Fleetwood, the drummer, and Mac. Well, too, but I don't think he was in this one actually. in this album. I think he left, but they kept the name. I don't know. Or could have been McVie that they named. I don't know. But yeah, it was a lot of drama, and a lot of the breakups and everything drive these songs, and you can tell. And it gives the songs kind of a the songs sound very fresh. Even today, they sound fresh because they feel they're very emotional. The whole album in general is emotionally driven. And the thing about it is that a lot of the songs they're not super obvious. You kind of have to put a little bit more thought into them when you listen to them because the stuff they talk about is stuff that can be applied to a lot of different situations, especially relationships. Okay, oh my god, the next one, Oh Daddy, that one's a really, really emotionally driven. That one's very slow, kind of, a, very slow and kind of very, I would say ballady, but more sadder than that too. And then Gold Dust Woman's kind of similar to that, but it has more pop to its stuff a little bit. But yeah, the whole album in general rocks. It has a lot of great songs on a lot of hit songs, and some definitely probably are a bit more lighter than others. Some of them are pretty heavy, not like in sound, but just in weight. There's a lot of weight to these songs, and there's a lot of I love the album in ways that I wouldn't think. I would think I would love it because it's good music, but it really spoke to me in a lot of ways. It feels like there's a lot of power, but there's also a lot of emotional weight, kind of melancholy. That's the perfect way to describe the album. It's melancholy because relationships were in turmoil all throughout it from within the whole group. So when they made the music, it fueled them to make great music, but at a cost though because it ruined their relationships and they couldn't and it was just a lot of drama fueling it and it just spilled over and they channeled it through the music and you can feel it in it and yeah, it's definitely something I recommend highly. I think I will say anyone who just listens to it casually, some of the tracks may sound a bit similar to each other, but that's kind of the thing with when you write songs is that especially if you have a distinct style, that some songs might have a similarness to them. That happens, but with this one, a lot of the tracks I like a lot. Now, some of them are, like I said, a touch lighter, but I think considering that the album was made because of so much drama happening back and forth with everything, that some songs could have been written when things were good. Some songs could have been written when things are bad. So a song could be written while both were happening back and forth. I mean, I think it lets a lot to do with it too. But yeah, but I think nowadays I think people might like the song. In all honesty, if you have troubles with relationships or something, this is a great album to listen to because you can kind of it can help. I for me it's a great way to channel. I found it kind of nice to listen to it because it felt like I got it personally for me. Now, everyone has their own albums that get them, and they get. That's just because everyone has their own personal experiences and tastes. But this one, I feel like this one might be one of those albums that could be universally applied because I feel like everyone has gotten to a point because the album really is about relationships. All the songs and everything, it's all relationship driven, very romance, falling out, breakups, drama. It's very driven, and you may say that I say that. I mean, some people were like, "Well, yeah, duh." I mean, there was a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but you don't. Even if you don't know the stuff behind the scenes, if you listen to the album, you can tell that the topic of relationships was a pretty big one. Now, yeah, granted, rock music songs in general are usually about relationships. Relationships are very important to us in life, but this album it just felt like a specific kind of relationships were the focus. And yeah, I just really dug the amount of weight. The album succeeds in various areas. The big ones are: one, the album has weight. The songs are written with drive and emotion. A lot of most a mix of hate, mix of hate and love coming together. But but it's a yin yang quality because a lot of the music isn't like heavy metal emo shit. It's more like, I wouldn't say it's light. It's folk driven. It has kind of a light weight to it. It's floaty. It has a lot of floatness. You feel like you're flying when you listen to the album a little bit. Because the guitar soars, the keyboard kind of has a mellowness to it. The drums carry you too with the bass. And the vocals are very kind of throwbackish, especially Stevie Nicks. She definitely has that kind of old fashioned kind of pull you into the story kind of vibe with her. Oh yeah, and yeah, it's just I actually went way more into the album than I thought I was gonna get into. I knew I would love it because I love their songs, especially "Go Your Own Way" and "The Chain." Those two songs are very. I love those songs a lot. The rest of the album I love too. But if I'm gonna say anything about the album when you listen to it, I say really kind of listen to it, like, cause it has kind of an old fashionedness to it that it feels like I could play the album at any time in history and people would get it. I guess if to make more sense, it to me the album just feels very, I don't know. It kind of has kind of a old schoolness to it. Like there is definitely folk influences, like old school musical influences in it, but it also feels like a lot of contemporary stuff was infused in that as well, like the guitar solos, the beat, the rhythm. But it does feel very folk driven, a very kind of rural, maybe a touch of medieval isms thrown in there too. It just kind of it's a hodgepodge of vibes that I get from it. And that's just from the musical style alone. If you throw in the emotional weight that drives the songs, I mean, it's just a unique sound that I just feels just kind of transcends like fads and everything. It's just something that I feel like can be listened to and applied to a lot of different areas in life. And the melancholiness of it in a lot of ways really helps too, because the songs themselves sound very, of course, based on the song it can range from slow, sad, kind of mellow to hard driven, but 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 everything always matches up and nothing ever felt off. Nothing ever felt like, this doesn't quite fit this or that. It just felt very well thing. And I can tell that the people who did this behind the scenes really wanted to make the album work, and the band did too. Because I think after all this work, no matter the turmoil, they wanted to get it out, and it was a huge success. It's considered one of the greatest albums ever made, and I highly recommend it. Check it out. You can find it anywhere online, Amazon Music, iTunes. If you want to check in on that before it goes away, you could buy the CD, cassette, vinyl. I know vinyl's very huge nowadays. It'd be tempting to get this on vinyl, but it's a great album. I recommend checking it out and really listen to it. I mean, you can have it on in the background, like lots of stuff, and it's fine. But if you really listen to it, it might strike a chord with you. You weren't prepared for it to strike. And I think a lot is because not many. I don't think a lot. I think Fleetwood Mac doesn't get the credit they deserve, because really they did stuff before and after, but this is like a super album, like one of those albums that has like 66% of the songs are like hit singles. Like that, it's one of those albums, so that's kind of a hard thing to really match again. But yeah, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors, check it out, it's awesome. And let's see, make sure I mention everything. I know the last few episodes I keep forgetting one thing, and I did not this time around, so that's good. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.